Hi guys, for today's lesson we're going to be dealing with frequency distribution tables. So first up, what do I mean by this word frequency? It's a number which describes how often a data entry occurs, how often it comes up. So for this data set here, we can see that, say, the frequency of the number 6, well, 6 appears 3 times, as you can see here, so its frequency is 3, how often it occurs. Like the frequency of 10 would be 3, the frequency of 7 would be 2, for example. Now, a frequency distribution table is a table which displays the frequency of each of these data sets. It's pretty much listing all the frequencies you can see here. So 5 had a frequency of 1, it only came up once. 6 had a frequency of 3, etc. It's very similar to a tally column. Like, it's just pretty much tallying each of these numbers, but instead of actual tallies, you've got numbers for frequency. A grouped frequency distribution table, that's a type of frequency distribution table where the data entry column consists of groups, like ranges of numbers. So for the same data set, I could make a grouped frequency distribution table by, instead of having these single numbers, as you see here, like a row for each number, we can instead have groups. So we can have the group 3 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to 11. We want to make sure our groups are even sized when we're doing these. So 3 to 5, that consists of 3 numbers, like 3, 4, and 5. The next one consists of 6, 7, and 8, 3 numbers again, so even groups. And this one's 9, 10, and 11. And we want to show the frequencies from this data set. So 3 to 5, we've only got one number in that group, so we've got 1. 6 to 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in that group from 6 to 8. And then lastly, from 9 to 11, we've got 3 numbers. So there's our frequency of 3. Let's do some example questions with these. So consider the following frequency distribution table. So here's our distribution table here. What is the modal score? So the mode of a data set is the most common. We can see that 6 and 10 came up the most. They had frequencies of 3. So therefore, our mode is 6 and 10. They both have the highest frequency. What is the mean or the average of the data set? Now, this is a bit of a tricky one. The strategy is we want to add all the data entries together and then divide by the number of entries. But it's hard to kind of see those entries in a frequency distribution table. So the idea is that a trick to do this sort of thing is to multiply each data entry by its frequency. So like 5 times 1 and 6 times 3. And then combine these answers. So we want to add what we get from each of these multiplications that we're doing. Lastly, you then want to divide the result by the total frequencies. So it's pretty much doing like the usual stuff for finding averages, but it's just the trick when you're given a frequency distribution table. So we've got 5 times 1, 6 times 3, 7 times 2, 8 times 1, and we're going to add up all these multiplications to get a total of 75. Now we can see the total frequencies is 10 if we add up all these numbers here. So we're going to do 75 divided by 10, which gets us our mean of, or our average of 7.5. What is the median of the data set? Well, the strategy here is to count your way to the middle value or values using the frequencies. So here I can see that there's a total of 10 numbers in my data set. The median position is going to be 10 plus 1 over 2, which equals 5.5. That means the average of the 5th and the 6th scores. Now it's a matter of counting through these frequencies to find the 5th and 6th scores. So I can see what my first score is right here, frequency 1. Second, third, and fourth scores are data entries of 6. And lastly, my 5th and 6th scores are going to be data entries of 7. So our 5th and 6th scores are both data entries of 7. We're going to add those two together and divide by 2 to find the average of these 5th and 6th scores, and we get our median of 7. Hope this helps with the questions. Good luck.